For those of you who know me, I don't do spontaneous well, so mine is very typed out and planned, so I'll try to make good eye contact. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20 says, "Give thanks always and for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ." Thanksgiving is a time when each of us reflect on our lives and the past year and recognize the blessings that we have received, giving us another opportunity to thank Christ for all that we have and that we continue to receive. Some years, it's harder than others to find these blessings. And then there are the times in your life, like this past year for us, that are overflowing with so many blessings that it's hard to know where to start. Last Thanksgiving, Anthony and I made the formal announcement that we were going to be expecting a child. When Anthony and I decided to start a family, we planned for difficulties and surprises and didn't expect to get pregnant right away. But we had faith that God would provide for us when the time was right. After finding out that we were pregnant very shortly afterwards, it seemed like everything was falling into place and God's plan for us was clear. We were due in June, which gave us plenty of time to sell our home and buy a new one. It meant that Anthony would be able to finish the school year without having to worry about me going into labor in the middle of his finals. I had had an easy pregnancy and we were looking forward to the summer when she was scheduled to arrive. This all changed 7 months ago, today in fact, in April when I went to visit my doctor, and she informed me that I had a medical condition that would require me to have our child that week, almost 2 months early. We had closed on our new house only the night before and hadn't even scheduled when we would move in, and Anthony was a week away from finals. After spending 2 days in the hospital with complication after complication, I remember going into the operating room for our emergency C-section and asking God why this was happening. This wasn't the way it was supposed to be. To me, pregnancy and the birth of a child is the epitome of viewing God's miraculous creation. I had only ever considered the joy and the happiness that I would feel around the birth of our child and beginning our family. When confronted with the fear, worry, and confusion of what was happening, I couldn't imagine why this would be part of God's plan. I regularly refer to the passage, Psalm chapter 34, verse 17, "Cast your burden onto the Lord, and he will sustain you." And in that moment, I prayed. I prayed for the health of our baby and for our family, and to find a way through this, and asked that he give us not only physical health, but that he calm both Anthony and I, and asked for God to take my fears and for me to understand that his will would be done. I remember right after that prayer feeling much calmer, and even when Olivia was born at less than 3.5 pounds, much smaller than the doctors even expected, I knew that the Lord would protect our family. Though there were additional complications over the next few days, I approached them with ease and with understanding. This was part of God's plan, and he would sustain us. Although Olivia was born early and underweight, she was doing better than expected. She was breathing on her own, was off all the monitors, and just needed time to grow before coming home. Anthony's school was more than accommodating, giving him time to be with Olivia and I, as well as rescheduling his finals. I ended up having 2 additional surgeries, but knew that I would heal and that I would get better. To me, Thanksgiving is not only about recognizing the events and things in our lives that we should be thankful for, but also recognizing the people who have touched our lives. God puts people in your life for different reasons, some to learn from, some to help you, and some to remind you of the blessings of the Lord. Through the trials of this past year, we have made it partly because of the people we are so blessed to have in our lives, including my parents, my coworkers, Anthony's family, and especially Suzanne and Tony. While they have always been important in our lives, this past year, Suzanne and Tony provided such love and generosity that it's hard to imagine how we would have made it through this year without them. They gave us a place to live when our home was sold before we could buy a new one. They drove me to the NICU every day to see Olivia when she was still hospitalized and I wasn't allowed to drive. They opened grandma school for Livy so that I could return to work. And even now, when Anthony needs time to work on school, if I need time to get extra housework done, or we want to go on a rare date night together, our family is there for us, offering their help. It's such a blessing to have such caring and giving people in our lives. And as we look back and recognize the things and the people that we're thankful for this year, God's work and his blessings for us have been so much more than we could have ever asked for. We have a beautiful and healthy daughter and an amazing family that make being a full-time student and dad and a full-time working mom a little easier. We would like to say thank you to our family, but we also want to thank God for all of the blessings that we've received, for it is through him that all blessings flow.